Welcome back to part 2 of the Infinite Matrix. So in our last video, we broke down the physics of a world that never ends and the terrifying countdown clock Einstein left behind for us. But today we need to answer a massive problem of how do we get light. A single sun cannot light up an infinity of space. Okay, so if our sun was the only light bulb in the universe, its rays would fade out just a few thousand miles away. 99% of the infinite plane would be trapped in total absolute darkness. It would be so freezing cold that the air itself would turn into solid ice. So how does life survive on the endless void? To understand it, we have to look up at the sky like it's a giant machine. Imagine the sky isn't empty space. Imagine it is an engineered grid, like a giant glowing checkerboard. Instead of the one sun, the infinite plane has millions of miniature suns and moons floating above. And each little sun only lights up one small circle of land. Our entire known world, with the United States, Europe, Asia, and all our oceans, is just one single cell on this massive board. Our sun moves in a circle above us, creating day and night for our little area, while the neighboring cells are lit by their own local suns. This means if you got into a ship and sailed past our known oceans, you would hit a wall of freezing, pitch black darkness where our sun's light ends. But if you kept driving through the frozen wasteland for thousands of miles, you wouldn't fall off the earth. You would eventually emerge out of the dark and step into the warm light of a completely different sun, illuminating entirely new continents that humanity doesn't even know exists. Because these different cells have been separated by thousands of miles of frozen darkness for millions of years, nature went down a completely different path. In each one, this is where cryptids would come from. Creatures like Bigfoot, the Mothman, or the Loch Ness Monster aren't myths, and they aren't magic. They are biological animals from neighboring cells on the infinite board. Every once in a while, one of these creatures wanders away from its local sun and survives the terrifying trek across the dark, frozen wastes and accidentally stumbles into our backyard. We see them, we panic, and we call them monsters, but to them, we are the aliens who live under a weird sun. The endless terrain means there is room for every biological anomaly to exist safely in its own pocket of the world, hidden away from human eyes. But what happens when you turn your eyes away from the sky and look down? If the surface holds hidden suns and alien monsters, what is hiding the thousands of miles of rock directly beneath our feet? So in part 3, we are going to travel downward into the crust to look at the zero-gravity underworlds and the inverted civilizations living inside the earth. Hit that subscribe button so you don't get left in the dark, and let me know in the comments which cryptid do you think came from the closest cell, and I'll see you in part 3.